Welcome to Maze, Spain, an exhibition about geocaching in which we will show you a lot of facts and curiosities about this activity. In addition, when you complete your journey, you will be able to record as found the first geocache of the type GPS Adventures exhibit in Spain. Are you ready? Our journey into the world of geocaching begins. A GPS Adventures exhibit, also called Maze because of its labyrinthine aspect, is a unique and very exclusive type of geocache that consists of an official exhibition about GPS and geocaching technology, and that takes a tour through information panels and other interactive elements through its history, operation, and particularities. It was created in 2007 by Geocaching HQ. Exhibit creator Minotaur Maze Exhibits, development sponsor Trimble, and technology contributors Magellan and Digital Globe, and until 2024 a total of 47 have been held around the world, most of them in the United States, as you can see in this panel 1. But what is geocaching? Move forward to panel 2 and let's travel back in time to May 2nd, 2000, when the United States government eliminated selective availability, a protocol that deliberately introduced an error in GPS reception and made them completely inaccurate. We know that day as Blue Switch Day. The next day, David Ulmer, Oregon, USA, decided to test the new GPS precision by hiding a container in the forest and publishing its coordinates on the website Sky Geosatellite Nav, thus challenging internet users to look for it with their GPS devices in what he called the Great American GPS Stash Hunt. This was the first geocache in history. It is currently archived, but we can find a commemorative plaque at its coordinates. In panel 3, we can see that Mike Teague unknowingly became the first FTF in history. This is the acronym for First to Find, that is, the first person to find a geocache after its publication. And after him, many other adventurers set out not only to search for the stash, but to hide and publish their own containers, excited by the idea. Mike Teague himself, in less than a month, began to compile all the hiding places published to date, which were 75, on a specialized website. On May 30th, 2000, Matt Stum proposed changing the controversial name stash to the union of the terms geo, which refers to the Earth, and cache, a French term that describes a hiding place that, in addition, it is reminiscent of the cache memory of computers. Geocaching was born and had a great future ahead of it. In 2024, there will be more than 3 million geocaches in the world. www.geocaching.com is the website where the coordinates of the geocaches are currently published. These propose different experiences depending on the type to which they belong. In panels 4 and 5, we can see a summary of these types, which we will develop later. The traditional cache is hidden exactly in the published coordinates, while to know the place where a multi-cache is hidden, a tour of different places proposed by its owner must be taken. To know the coordinates of an unknown cache or mystery, a puzzle must first be solved. The Earth cache leads to a place of special geological interest to learn about Earth science. The letterbox hybrid is a fusion between geocaching and letterboxing, while a Where I Go TM offers an interactive experience through a mobile phone or compatible GPS prior to knowing the coordinates of the hiding place. An event is a meeting of geocachers at a certain place and date, which can become mega or giga if it brings together 500 or 5,000 geocachers respectively. An adventure lab takes you to places of interest where it would be difficult to hide a physical container through a specialized application. A CETO, acronym for Cache In, Trash Out, leads geocachers to carry out an activity in favour of the environment, such as forest cleaning or recycling workshops. A virtual cache has no physical container and requires some action, such as a photograph to be taken to prove that the location has been visited. And the project APE or Geocaching HQ type caches are unique in the world, and we will detail them later. For now, let's go geocaching in panel 6. With this activity you can find treasures all over the world, hidden from the sight of those who don't know they are there. Thanks to geocaching, you can visit the most special and incredible places wherever you go. Live great adventures and make friends all over the world. Are you able to help signal the frog behind the hidden cache? At www.geocaching.com, a spectacular map shows us all the geocaches available to us in the world, as we see in panel 7. From the best known and most popular places to the most inhospitable, any place can host a geocaching container. When entering each of them on the official website or app, its creator gives us all kinds of details about the geocache, the place it will take us, and other interesting information about it. Its name, the date it was hidden, its difficulty, and terrain rating, the favourite points that its searchers have given it, the coordinates, its attributes, etc. Below, we can see the experiences of all the geocachers who have decided to search for that geocache over time. The study of these pages tells the search engine whether this proposal is interesting or not, and makes them decide to undertake the adventure of their search. In panel 8, we can see that the page for each geocache also indicates its size rating, which can range from micro, less than 100 ml capacity, to large, more than 20 litres, passing through small up to 1 litre and regular up to 20 litres. There is also the other size for geocaches that cannot be included in any of those sizes. In the example, an entire wall. Finally, there are containerless geocache types that do not have sizing applied to them. A geocache can range from a magnetic nano, smaller than your little fingernail, to something as large as an entire construction shed. Can you think of an even larger container? In panel 9, we can see how the difficulty rating of a geocache is structured from 1 to 5 stars, depending on how difficult it is to find, either because of how well hidden it is, or because of the process that must be followed to discover the coordinates in which it is hidden. 1 star would imply an event or cache that is very easy for anyone to find. 1.5 stars would imply a resolution process or a short search. 10 to 15 minutes maximum, and thus we climb in difficulty until we reach 5 stars, which represent an extraordinarily complicated challenge and within the reach of very few geocachers. Are you one of them? And why can a geocache be so difficult to find? Well, because as panel 10 shows, not only can they be very small, but their creator may have used surprising camouflage techniques, mimicking the container to such an extent that even knowing where to look, geocaches can take a long time to find it, locate it, or even fail to do so. Fake stones, hollow logs, modified street furniture. How far would you go to hide a geocache? Panel 11 shows us the star rating of the terrain of a geocache, understanding as such the physical difficulty of accessing the place where the container is hidden. So, while a 1-star rating implies that the geocache is wheelchair accessible, or 1.5 stars refers to a paved terrain, a walk of less than a kilometre and a height accessible to anyone, things go complicated through more abrupt and complicated terrain until reaching the 5-star terrain rating, which requires the use of specialised material such as climbing harnesses, crampons, diving equipment, etc. The fact that getting to a geocache is very difficult does not mean that it is unpublishable. That is why there are specific attributes for them that, at a glance, allow the potential seeker to know whether or not they exceed their physical capabilities, as we can see in panel 12. In this way, there are attributes if the geocache requires a dangerous climb, climbing to a tree, or use climbing equipment, such as a container that was hidden in a via ferrata, which requires a helmet, harness, and fall arrestor to carry it out. There are many attributes that can accompany a geocache. Some of them, like those shown in panel 13, indicate that to reach their hiding place, you will have to get wet to a greater or lesser extent. Thus we have, for example, the attributes that indicate that the geocache requires wading, swimming, or even using oxygen and a diving suit. Have you ever seen yourself finding a hidden treasure at the bottom of the sea? With geocaching, you can do it. The attributes do not only describe geocaches that are very difficult to access. As we see in panel 14, there is a very great commitment to bringing geocaching to people with reduced mobility so that they can enjoy the great benefits of this activity. That is why there is the attribute that indicates that geocache is accessible by wheelchair, which is also rated with 1 terrain star. In the QR links, you can read some interviews published on the official geocaching blog with fellow geocachers with reduced mobility and see the importance that a correct terrain qualification means for them in this type of geocache. There are other fun attributes, such as those that imply that the geocache can only be searched at night, and which panel 15 shows us. Night geocaching can involve a walk through the forest, directed through reflective points attached to the trees, and that glow when the flashlight shines on them, or reveal invisible messages using UV light, to name a few. There are many more attributes that can help you select your geocaching experience. We invite you to know them all and pay attention to them every time you read a geocache website. To practice geocaching, it was previously necessary to have a GPS device, but today any mobile phone is more than enough thanks to the free official app available for both Android and iPhone. You only need to download it using the QR codes on panel 16 and create a free account at www.geocaching.com. Once you can access the website with your username and password, you will see the map with all the geocaches at your disposal in the place where you are. Pick one, look at its difficulty and terrain rating, read its description. Do you think it's a geocache for you? Well, scroll to it and begin the search, which you must carry out as indicated in the following panel. Firstly, whether or not your chosen geocache has the corresponding attribute, a search must be very discreet. Once found, you must sign the logbook with your geocaching name and the date, as this is the necessary requirement to be able to register it as found later on www.geocaching.com. If the size allows it, the geocache can contain toys or other so-called exchange objects. You can take what you want, respecting one rule: leave something of equal or greater value for the next geocacher. Lastly, don't forget to hide the geocache in exactly the same place you found it. Don't alter the original idea. You can find these and many other rules in Guía del Geocaching Correcto in Spanish, made by Trusho, that links the QR code. Once the geocache search is finished, panel 18 indicates the different types of registration that we can carry out. Found it will put a smiley face on the map and add a geocache to your findings. Don't forget to tell your experience. Add the photographs taken, give favourite points if you consider it, and thank the owner for the experience with a thanks for this cache. However, if you did not find it, it is important to indicate it through corresponding record, DNF, which will inform the owner and other geocachers about this circumstance. A write note can be used to narrate a second visit to a geocache already found, deposit a trackable object, or register a challenge not yet overcome. An owner attention requested record will be made when the geocache is found to be in poor condition, while a reviewer attention requested record will be made when the cache is out of compliance or has accumulated multiple calls for attention of the owner without him responding. If, like us, you love geocaching, you may want to consider becoming a premium member by following the QR link in panel 19 for €39.99 per year or €7.99 per month. This will unlock many new features such as unlimited access to all types, sizes and difficulty levels of geocaches, perform advanced searches using filters, receive notifications when a new geocache is published near your location, award points to your favourite geocaches. You will receive 1 point for every 10 you find. Download lists of geocaches and maps to use them offline, access different statistics, and, above all, support and bring the game to life. In 2000, geocaching.com started as a hobbyist website with 75 geocaches and is currently home to over 3 million around the world, thanks to people like you. Starting in panel 20, we are going to review in more detail the different types of geocaches, starting with the traditional, which is by far the most abundant anywhere in the world. It is also the simplest, since the container is hidden exactly at the coordinates indicated on its website. Virtually any interesting place in the world has its traditional geocache waiting to be found. Sagrada Familia, Cibeles, La Alhambra, the Great Wall of China, the Eiffel Tower, or Niagara Falls, to name just a few examples. On the panel, you can see some curiosities about these caches, such as their distribution by autonomous communities, the most found in Spain, the oldest, the one that has received the most favourite points, or the one that is hidden at the highest altitude. These and the rest of the Maze Spain statistical data were taken in January 2024 at Project GC. Panel 21 develops the multicache, whose coordinates are not those of the geocache hiding place, but rather those of the first stage of a route proposed by the owner. The different places to which a multicache will take us can be physical stages, in which there is a container that must be found and that will reveal the next step to follow, or virtual stages, in which there is nothing hidden, but rather you have to check something. For example, counting the existing streetlights in a square. That value is applied to a mathematical formula provided by the multicache page, the result of which is the coordinates of the next stage, and so on until you reach the geocache hiding place. An interesting variety of this type are night caches, in which different reflective points guide the geocacher through a route, as we saw previously. These physical or virtual stages are called waypoints, as panel 22 shows us, and are coordinates that take the geocacher to a certain place, as if it were the hiding place of a traditional geocache. Some rules regarding waypoints must be kept in mind, such as those that belong to different geocaches, whether they are intermediate physical stages of a multicache or the final hiding place of any type of geocache, must be separated by at least 161 meters. We must pay special attention to possible physical waypoints that remain hidden in other multicache, mystery, letterbox hybrid or where I go caches, because if we have not previously resolved them, we will not know their location and they could interfere with a new geocache, which will not be published if it does not respect this rule. The different waypoints of the same geocache do not have to respect this minimum separation. There is a sister website to geocaching.com that we can access with the same name and password that invite us to travel the world through virtual waypoints such as waymarking.com. Panel 23 focuses on unknown geocaches, which we commonly call mystery. In this type, the final coordinates of the hideout are not offered, but the owner can use whatever he wants within a 3.2 kilometer radius of it to place its icon on the map. Next, A puzzle, a game, a mystery is proposed, the resolution of which will provide the searcher with the coordinates where the geocache is really hidden. The possibilities are as great as the imagination of the owner of the cache. Sudoku, cryptography, hidden messages in images or videos. Many times the solution to the mystery is not the coordinates, but a phrase or a word that must be entered on external websites, such as certitudes.org, which will reveal the hiding place if they are given the correct answer to the mystery. This geocache type can be used to make drawings on the map with their icons. They are the GeoArts that we will talk about later. Panel 24 is dedicated to earth caches. This is a type of virtual geocache with no physical container to find, which was born as a result of a collaboration between Geocaching HQ and the Geological Society of America. These types of geocaches, which are reviewed by a geology expert and have their own regulations, take geocaches to a place of geological importance to provide a detailed explanation of the geological processes that occur there on their website. This lesson on earth science must be understood by the players to then carry out a series of practices and measurements necessary to be able to answer the questions that the owner poses on the EarthCache website. Once these answers are sent by email or the geocaching.com message center, the player can register the EarthCache as found. Letterbox hybrid, shown in panel 25, is a type of geocache that merges geocaching with a previous activity such as letterboxing, a treasure hunt that uses clues instead of coordinates. When this type of geocache was created, a fusion was established in which, in addition to these clues, coordinates should also be used at some point in the search, whether where to start the journey, to search for the final container, or in intermediate stages. The other defining characteristic of letterboxes is that they must contain a stamp inside that geocaches can stamp in their own find book as well as stamp theirs in the cache record book. Panel 26 is dedicated to Where I Go type geocaches. It is a platform that allows you to create experiences based on GPS locations and reproduce them in the real world. As in a video game, but instead of clicking and selecting a location to move the character, it is the geocacher who must move from one place to another to advance the adventure, which, when completed, will reveal the finer coordinates where the geocache is hidden. In order to play Where I Go, it is necessary to download the cartridge of the adventure, which is programmed by the owner of the geocache and hosted on the website whereigo.com, sister of geocaching.com, and which can be accessed with the same name and password. Once downloaded, the cartridge will play on the free Where You Go apps on Android and Where I Go on iPhone, which can be accessed via QR codes. In the virtual type geocaches described in panel 27, there is no physical container that the player must search for, but rather their objective is to visit the place proposed by the coordinates, a place that might present difficulties to hide a physical container. Since there is no logbook to sign, the geocacher certifies that he has been there through some requirement proposed by the owner, and which generally consists of attaching a photograph to the found record and or answer any questions about the place as if it were an earth cache. In 2005, various problems led Geocaching HQ to eliminate the possibility of publishing new virtual ones, which were mostly located in the United States. However, 4 virtual reward initiatives carried out in subsequent years allowed for many more and better virtuals around the world. Geocaching has an important social component, which is especially evident in the event-type geocaches shown in panel 28. An event is a meeting of geocaches convened by the owner at a specific place, date and time to carry out different related activities with geocaching, although not exclusively to search for geocaches. As a general rule, they can be published between 3 months and 2 weeks before the event, and from that moment any geocacher can express their intention to attend by means of a registration such as "will attend." Once the event has taken place, everyone who has participated will be able to make an attended record, thus adding to the event to their list of found caches. An event that will bring together 500 or 5,000 geocaches respectively can opt to become a different type called mega or giga events respectively, and which constitute the great geocaching parties. Until May 2024, 24 megas have been held in Spain, in Andalusia, Aragon, Catalonia, the Community of Madrid, the Valencian Community, Galicia and the region of Murcia, which we can see in panel 29. All of these events have spanned a weekend complete, some even more, and which counted to a greater or lesser extent on the collaboration of the town councils of the places where they were held, thus managing to offer attendees extraordinary geocaching activities and proposals that left an indelible mark. Organising a mega event involves months of planning and incredible work by the organisers and their teams to ensure that their fellow fans enjoy it to the fullest. A work that is not always visible and recognised, so we want to pay a small tribute to all of them here. How many megas were you at? 3 of those 24 megas were organised by the teams responsible for this May's Spain, and constitute the necessary path to have achieved the management of the first GPS Adventures exhibit in Spain. They were Geo Alicante 2019, Geo Valencia 2022 and GeoCachiing 2024, as we can see in panel 30. Where will geocaching take us in the future? It only depends on you. In panel 31, we can see what a CETO type geocache is, which is the acronym for the expression cache in, trash out. It consists of an event in which the attending geocachers carry out an activity to benefit the environment, such as collecting garbage in a natural area, a recycling workshop, rebuilding roads or bridges, or reforestation. There is a great imbalance in Spain in terms of the proportion of events and CETO carried out, so we encourage the entire community to continue working for the environment through these fantastic initiatives. But being a geocacher doesn't just mean searching for geocaches and attending events. The game grows and develops thanks to the work and creativity of people who decide to hide their own containers to show wonderful places, tell stories, use spectacular camouflages, pose complicated mysteries, etc. Panel 32 teaches us that to hide and publish a geocache, a series of rules contained in the game's guidelines must be followed, which you can access from the QR code it shows us. However, it is advisable to familiarise yourself with these rules by searching a considerable number of other people's geocaches to see in person what characteristics a container should have, what should be proposed in each type of geocache, where one cannot hide one. Once all the requirements are met and the container has been hidden, you must access the form to create the cache web page through the link provided by the QR and fill out all the necessary fields: name, coordinates, type, description, etc. Finally, as panel 33 shows us, we will press the button to submit the cache for review. The publication of the geocache will then be in the hands of the team of Spanish community volunteer reviewers, formed by Cloca, Salmoon, Cispolclo, Alaguait, Hagamitita, and Skeet Surfer, Canary Islands, who will verify that everything complies with what is established by the guidelines and will publish the cache or require the owner to correct any errors. From the moment the geocache is published, it will become available to the community, who will begin to search for it, and the owner will receive records of found and not found, with the stories written by the searchers. Throughout the life of the geocache, it is possible that it will begin to receive records of the owner's attention is required, and the owner will have the responsibility of carrying out maintenance work on the cache to leave it in an optimal condition, and must deactivate it if necessary. It will take some time to do so, to prevent it from continuing to be visited in vain by search engines. Once the maintenance has been completed, you can activate it again so that all geocachers continue to enjoy it. In the event that the owner does not want to continue taking care of the geocache, he must archive it and collect its remains so they do not become garbage in the middle of nature. When hiding or searching for a geocache, we must keep in mind which objects can be introduced into it to act as exchange objects and which are prohibited, which is what panel 34 shows us. Geocachers would love to find trackable objects such as travel bugs or geocoins, also writing and office supplies, small toys, keychains and even records, movies or books. However, food that could attract animals, flammable or explosive objects, sharp objects, and any type of garbage or useless waste should not be left in a cache. We have already met the team of community volunteer reviewers from Spain, which in 2024 is made up of skeet surfer Cloca, Salmoon Cispoglo, who is also an Earth Cache reviewer under the name GeoAware ES, Algoate and the Pegamatita, all of them fellow geocachers who have decided to invest. They spend a considerable amount of their free time voluntarily reviewing and publishing geocaches and are always available to the community to answer questions or participate in training sessions. From here, we express our gratitude to all of them, as well as to everyone who at some point has been part of the team of reviewers whose family tree we can see in panel 35. Geocaching HQ is where the tools that make geocaching possible are created and maintained, and to which panel 36 is dedicated. From incredibly intelligent developers to artistic geniuses, Geocaching HQ is where all the magic happens. Located more than 8,700 kilometers from Maze, Spain, the Geocaching HQ Visitor Center in Seattle is the dream destination of hundreds of geocachers from around the world. In addition to meeting the lackeys who work there, visitors can discover dozens of strange trackable objects, obtain an exclusive souvenir, or register as found a unique type of geocache, such as the geocaching headquarters, which can access through the QR code. If you spend a little time geocaching, you'll likely see a frog with an antenna attached to its head, like the one waving at you from panel 37. It's Signal the frog, the official mascot of geocaching. Signal was created in the early days of geocaching.com as a way to represent the combination of technology and nature. Since then, she has become well loved by the geocaching community and appears on t-shirts, trackers, plushies, and even in person in some mega events. If you see it, be sure to give it a high five and find out its tracking code. But why a frog? If you notice, Signal isn't just a frog, it's a frog with an antenna attached to its head. Geocaching HQ searched the animal kingdom and couldn't find any other animals with antenna besides Signal, so the choice was easy. Panel 38 tells us about Adventure Lab, a new app from Geocaching HQ that allows you to create, play and share unique treasure hunts that, unlike traditional geocaching, do not require physical containers and can be used to explore indoor spaces. There are currently more than 60,000 public adventures available around the world, divided into locations. The Adventure Lab app expands the boundaries of traditional geocaching to new spaces and experiences, while introducing new and innovative ideas that make exploration even more fun. Download it for Android or iPhone using QR codes. The guidelines explicitly allow hiding geocaches in outer space with the authorization of Geocaching HQ, and so it has been done, as panel 39 explains. Astronaut Richard Garriott, Lord British in Geocaching, published on October 14, 2008, a cache inside the International Space Station. in orbit around the Earth at a speed of 27,358.848 kilometers per hour and an altitude of 402.336 kilometers, which we can access using QR code on the panel. As there are no coordinates in space compatible with geocaching, those of the Baikonur Cosmodrome, Kazakhstan, were used. In this cache, there is no logbook to avoid possible fires, but a travel bug was placed in the box office 218 of the Russian segment. The FTF was carried out by an American astronaut, Rick Mastracchio, Astro RM, on November the 17th, 2013, and geocaching in space events were held all over the planet to celebrate it. In addition, geocaching has been on the planet Mars, as we can see in the panel 40. The travel bug Mars Perseverance rover became the first to make an interplanetary trip, as it was part of the Mars 2020 mission from NASA. This mission aimed to study the surface of the red planet and collect mineral samples. The traceable code was recorded on a glass disc 2 centimeters in diameter that was used to calibrate the Sherlock laser spectrometer of the Watson camera, responsible for sending images to Earth. One of those images contained the code of the Mars Perseverance rover, which was received with joy by all the geocachers on Earth, because by registering it as discovered, they also obtained a new souvenir on their profile. In 2001, 20th Century Fox began a promotional campaign for the film Planet of the Apes that targeted the geocacher community, as panel 41 shows. The idea was that a group of renegade humans had hidden artifacts around the world in an effort to reveal alternative primate evolution. As a result of this campaign, 14 Project APE type geocaches were published, and which we can see through the QR links. There was a fun race for the FTF of those geocaches, as promotional gifts from the film were placed inside, including tickets to the premiere in New York. Most of these geocaches disappeared in a short time. Currently, only 2 remain active. The Mission 4 and the Mission 9 were looted and archived in 2011 like the rest, but were recovered in a spectacular rescue mission organised by geocachers 5 years later, in an adventure that seems straight out of a movie and which you can read about in the link of the QR code. Geocaching is a game in which numbers and personal and collective statistics are very present. Panel 42 gives us a small sample of all the data offered to us in our geocaching.com profile. The countries in which we have found a cache, ordered by the number we have found in each one, how many we have found on each day of the year, the percentage of each type of geocache that we have located, how many of each possible combination of difficulty and land, and many more. Good statistics are not the main goal of practicing geocaching, but no one can deny that they make it even more fun. And if what you like are geostatistics, you can't help but visit the website projectgc.com, which shows us panel 43, because there you will find them all. Who are the geocachers who have found the most geocaches of yours? And which ones have you found that have the most favourite points? Almost all Maze Spain statistical data comes from Project GC. One of the functions we like the most are its trophies or badges that level up as certain statistical achievements are achieved, which can be an extra motivation to get out of your comfort zone in geocaching. Panel 44 shows us some spectacular statistics of geocaches and geocachers in Spain, such as the 20 caches that have been found the most, those that have received the most favourites, the 20 geocachers that have found the most geocaches, those that have hidden the most, and those that have had more favourite points they have received on their creations. There are many local websites about geocaching that are very interesting to consult. Panel 45 tells us about geocachingspain.es, one of the references. This is the website of one of the best-known associations in Spain that has carried out a multitude of initiatives to disseminate and promote geocaching. As examples, we can highlight its annual La Cápsula de Tiempo event, its calendar of events, so that we are informed of all those that are going to be held, or its forum. A key point of discussion and debate on geocaching before the arrival of social networks, and that endures as an interesting online document. In panel 46, we want to refer to the monthly podcast GEOCACHING, where Comi Piedras, Cancus y MJ y Meteoro humorously tell all the latest news about the world of geocaching, with sections such as news, debate, La Caverna del Poeta, El Diccionario Geocachero, or its incredible and attractive collaborators. It is an essential meeting point for the entire geocacher community, month after month. The Geodesafios, to which panel 47 refers, are already an institution in the Spanish geocacher community. They were born in 2016 as an initiative of the Maze Spain organizing teams consisting of proposing a challenge related to geocaching to whoever was willing to accept it, seeing their effort rewarded with a personalized digital trophy. The management of the geo challenges has passed through the hands of Manu Porthree, Picarax and Moises Playes since then, until falling into those of B.A. Pepe, who keeps them alive today on his personal website, from where they continue to challenge the community monthly. There are many other local geocaching websites worth knowing about. In panel 48, we link some with QR codes, such as that of the aforementioned B.A. Pepe, that of the Catalunya team, the Compiedras YouTube channel, the Guia del Geocaching Correcto, to which we have already referred, the GeoTrovalles website, the Geocaching School of the Universitat Politécnica de Valencia, the blog of Zas Candiles team, the GeoCat Mapper project of the reviewer Alaguet, or the website of the Madrid Association, Mad for Geo. Do you know any more? An interesting type of geocaching, especially for lovers of statistics, are the so-called power trails, in which one geocache after another is hidden within the minimum required separation along a route, forming a snake of geocaches on the map. A very creative variant of these power trails are the GeoArts, which panel 49 tells us about. Taking advantage of the possibility that some types of geocache have of placing their icon on the place in the map that the owner wants, you can reach to make drawings that constitute authentic work of geocaching art. Once the real coordinates of each hiding place are obtained, the GeoArts are converted into normal power trails. In Spain, we have the official Guinness record for the largest GeoArt, property of Wizard Speed Time, with 1010 Mystery forming a treasure map, and which you can access with the QR code. Thanks to the GPS that we all have on our mobile phones, practicing geocaching is very simple and accessible to anyone. However, before the invention of this technology, it would have been much more complicated, and we would have had to use the navigation instruments that were available and which we can see in panel 50. The astrolabe, 6th century, is used to show what the sky looks like at a given place and time, allowing latitude to be determined. The compass uses the Earth's magnetic field to always point north. The sextant and octant measure the angle between an astronomical object and the horizon. The theodolite, 1571, is used to measure angles in the horizontal and vertical planes. The quadrant, 150 AD, is used to measure the altitude of celestial objects and the angular distance between them. The support staff is used to measure the height in degrees of the stars above the horizon. The stars will guide us to the geocache. Panel 51 represents the operation of a global navigational satellite system, GNSS. Our planet is orbited by a large number of satellites, so that at least 4 of them are always visible from any point. Each transmits information about its position and time, which is received by a GPS receiver on Earth. After comparing all the information received from the different satellites, this receiver is capable of calculating its exact geographical position. The acronym GPS refers to the American system, but there are others, such as the Russian GLONASS, since it is a technology with a high strategic component. In fact, its origin dates back to early 1970s and is of a warlike nature, not being something within civil reach until selective availability was eliminated in 2000. As we have already seen, currently satellite navigation is available to everyone and allows for things as fantastic as the practice of geocaching. Any point on the planet is represented by geographical coordinates composed of latitude and longitude, as shown in panel 52. Latitude is the angle of that point with respect to the equator, such that the latitude at the equator is 0 degrees, while at the north and south poles it is 90 degrees north and south respectively. The longitude, likewise, is the angle of that point with respect to the Greenwich meridian, in such a way that the longitude is said meridian is 0 degrees, increasing towards east and west until reaching 180 degrees respectively. There are many formats to represent geographical coordinates, but geocaching.com has chosen degrees, minutes and decimals, calculated according to the World Geodesic System 1984, WGS 84. A very important part of geocaching is made up of trackable objects, such as geocoins, which panel 53 talks about. These are coins minted with different motives, many of them related to geocaching, and that have a trackable code. By entering this code in the corresponding section of geocaching.com, we access the website of that geocoin, where we will find the description that its owner has given it, as well as the possible mission that has been assigned to it. Travel the 5 continents, participate at an event in Torreblanca, for example. Then it is possible to make a record of discovered. If you have only seen it and do not take it with you, or removed from a cache or from another place, if you decide to take it with you, this geocoin, like any other trackable object, does not become the property of the person who finds it, but that geocacher is obliged to make it travel with him and finally deposit in another geocache, trying to help him achieve his mission. If you are just passing through a geocache, when you register the found it should be marked as visit, and if you stay there, it will be marked as drop. The first geocoin in history was created by Mound 10 Bike, who we see posing with it in panel 54. The Mound 10 Bike geocoin 001 was launched on September the 1st, 2001, and as can be seen on the map containing the trips of any traceable object, it has travelled all over the world, although it has never reached Spain. If you are interested in purchasing a geocoin to add it to your collection or give it a mission and watch it travel the world, you can do so at the official geocaching store or at any of its international distributors such as Cache Boutique or geocachables.es at Spain. Another trackable geocaching object is the travel bug, referred to in panel 55. A travel bug is anything to which an official geocaching.com trackable code is added, either by adding the classic official badge that we see on the panel or in any other way. Toys, personalized badges, clothing, stickers, pets, or even your own body in the form of a tattoo so that those geocaches you meet at an event can discover it. Its operation and method to acquire them is exactly the same as we have explained for geocoins. Geocaching stimulates the collecting spirit in many ways. One of them are souvenirs, to which Panel 56 is dedicated. These are small pieces of digital art that are incorporated into the profile of geocachers who complete certain conditions established by Geocaching HQ, such as finding a certain number of types of geocaches for a week, attend a mega or giga geocache in a country or on a certain day. Panel 57 presents the Geocaching Block Party, annual events held by Geocaching HQ in Seattle between 2011 and 2015, and which brought a new type of geocache found to the profile of the attendees. After the 2011 edition, it was decided that the third Saturday of each August would be celebrated as International Geocaching Day, and that all players who found a geocache or attended an event would receive a commemorative souvenir. After 5 celebrations, it was announced that the 2015 edition will be the last opportunity to get to the Geocaching Block Party icon. However, in 2024, it was announced that to celebrate the 25th anniversary of geocaching, any mega or giga event in 2025 that is held around the world will be eligible to become a block party instead. Will you be at the real geocaching party? If International Geocaching Day is celebrated in August, Panel 58 shows us that the second weekend of each October, the same is done with International Earth Cache Day, when a special souvenir is offered to all those geocachers who visit an Earth cache to learn a little more about Earth's sciences. In many places on the planet, events are held in which expert geologists give entertaining and didactic explanations to the attendees that better help to establish the knowledge that this fantastic type of geocache aims to transmit. Do you dare to organize an event like this? Another important date in the geocaching calendar are the 2 CETO seasons that are held every year in spring and autumn, and which Panel 59 tells us about. Geocaching HQ considers that working in favor of the environment, where geocaches carry out their searches, it should be a priority objective for the community, and, for this reason, they encourage people to call and participate in CETOs at these 2 times of year to get exclusive souvenirs. Panel 60 is about the Geocaching International Film Festival, GIF, a big event that takes place regularly. Throughout the year, geocachers from all over the world prepare their geocaching-themed short films. Of all of them, Geocaching HQ selects approximately 15 of the best that are screened at events held around the world, with the aim of selecting the winner and rewarding attendees with a special souvenir. GIF began at the 2013 Geocaching Block Party, screening the films in a park near the headquarters. In 2015, the weather forced the format to change, allowing the current one to be established and become a must-see event for the entire community. There are some electronic devices designed exclusively to improve the geocaching experience of players, such as the Garmin Chirp, referred to in Panel 61. It is a small device that acts as a wireless beacon, intended to be deposited in a geocache or its surroundings. Upon approaching Chirp, Garmin GPS users, with the corresponding option activated, will receive a text message, previously programmed and password protected by its owner, that will give them the necessary directions to locate the container. Do you have a compatible GPS? Activate it now. As we have seen, geocaching depends directly on the ingenuity and creativity of the geocachers who decide to hide geocaches. Panel 62 shows us some of the creations of what we call Geocaching 2. geocaches that go beyond a hidden container and that use different technologies to surprise the searcher. Complex mechanisms, electronic devices, combination of audio and video in the most unexpected places. The evolution of geocaching seems to have no limits. Discover some examples if you're not afraid to see spoilers for existing geocaches. Panel 63 is dedicated to one of the teams at the forefront of this geocaching too. This is GeoCaches, some of whose members have donated their incredible creations so that Maze Spain attendees can enjoy them. Many thanks, friends. From the organisation of Maze Spain, we firmly believe that geocaching has great potential for the promotion and tourism development of the natural and cultural heritage of the different municipalities. Interested public institutions and private entities can do so by contacting the geocacher community in their area or using the official tours from Geocaching HQ that panel 64 tells us about. This is a set of geocaches selected to take players to certain places of interest with the possibility of completing a passport and thus receiving small gifts such as personalised geocoins, trackable objects, etc. In the video linked by the QR code, you can find much more information about this innovative form of tourism promotion. Thank you very much for completing Maze Spain. We hope you enjoyed it and come out of it with a great desire to go geocaching like we do. Climb the stairs to access the logbook of this GPS Adventures exhibit, Maze Spain. We want to wholeheartedly thank the people and institutions that have helped us make this project we dreamed of come true. Both those that are named in panel 66 and those that are not for technical reasons. You have all been a fundamental support during all those months of work. Thank you very much to you all.